Quickly, I'll be sharing the collaborate link for you. If anyone doesn't function, we are completed with, and we have completed with basic operators in Python, right? In today's class, I told you we'll be moving on to the, once you complete with all the examples, we'll move on to the looping statements. But there are some exercises that we have to understand with the help of if statements. So let us do that quickly. And once we are complete with that, we can move on to the next problem. Okay. So conditional statements, we have completed with several examples. That is, to check the number whether it is greater than zero or not. And next we have checked whether the number is positive or negative. Next we have checked if they are admin, then you have admin privilege, else you have no access. And the fourth one, now in today's class, I will tell you some of the very important things. Now several examples are very much easier, so I'll not copy. This is an example number 5, where you're supposed to check whether the number is divisible by 7 or not. Okay, but before this, I want you to understand, check the number is even or odd. Okay, first of all, can anyone tell me in the chat box? We are supposed to get this value from the user, correct? So what we are supposed to do? What we are supposed to do? Yes, so we are supposed to get the input function, right? So we'll get the value from the user, but we have to convert this into int so that it is converted into integer. So input, enter any number. Okay, now this will be asked with the user. Now what is the condition we are supposed to write inside the if? So if the number, okay, first of all, I want everyone to answer this. How can we mention whether the number is positive or odd or even? How can we categorize it as odd or even? How can we know that whether it is whether the number is odd or even? Yes, it is. I mean, yeah, very good. So if it is divisible by 2, right? If it is divisible by 2, then I can say that, yes, it is even. But let's say I'll be dividing 3 and I'll be dividing by 2. Even 3 is divided by 2, right? Right? 3 can be divided by 2. Even though it is a point value, it is divisible by 2. Something should be there. Yes, even though the point value is there, it is divisible by 2, right? Yes, exactly. The remainder should be 0. Okay. Whenever we are dividing by 2, the remainder should be 0. So what is an operator we have learned so that we can get the remainder? It is the modulus, right? So number mod 2 is equal to 0. So what is the condition? Basically, we are dividing the value by 2. For example, the given number is 3 now. So 3 divided by 2, what is that? The remainder is 1. Whether 1 is equal to 0? No. So it will not go to the if condition. It will go to the else condition. So if it is divided by 2, I mean, if the remainder is 0, then we can print this as even, right? Number is even. Else we can move on to number is odd. Simple. Let's run it. So let's write 5. You can see the odd. If I write 4, you can see answer is even. So this is how you are checking whether the number is even or odd. Okay. Now I'll mention the same question. Okay. I'll mention the same question. Just one thing you're supposed to change. That is, well, mode example number 6. Example number 6. Check if the number is factor of 7. Okay. Check if the number is factor of 7. So first of all, tell me what is the factor of 7. For example, if the number is, let's say, 49. Okay. Now, whether 49 is divided by 7? Yes. So can I say 49 is a factor of 7? Yes. So you are supposed to build a program where you're supposed to check the number whether it is a factor of 7. Exactly, Swati. Very good. So if the number mod 7, so anything that is divided by 7, if the remainder is equal to 0, then we can mention it as factor of 7. Correct? Otherwise, we can say not a factor of 7. Very, very simple. Let's run it. If I give 14, it should get factor of 7. Exactly. If I give, let's say, 15, we are supposed to get not a factor of 7. Very, very simple. Right? Again, I'll be sending the collaborate link. I'll tell you how to bookmark it. Okay. Kindly everyone see here. First of all, you are supposed to open the collaborate link, whatever I have sent you in the Chrome, and this is what you can see exactly. So this is the output, I mean, this is the display you can see. And in the corner, can you see this star button here? Now this means bookmark. Okay. So if you click on it, what happens is it will be stored here. I mean, this entire website will be stored here. Okay. So whenever you are opening, so for example, if I just click on this new tab, you can see all bookmarks here, right? So if you click on it, the bookmark will be present over here. So I have bookmarked here. So we can see DL/ML/AI batch one. Now this is my bookmarked website. So if I click on it, it will directly move on to the collab link. So every time you don't have to ask for me. Okay. Yes. So I hope everyone has completed this. So let us move on to the, now whatever we have done, this is very basic one. Okay. So let us move on to the intermediate part of if condition. Yes. So exercise number one, now when you compare to the previous one, this is quite different. Okay. So if the employee is working in a company for more than 5 years, then he or she will get the bonus of 50% to their current salary. Okay. Now this is the question. Okay. Now everyone has to tell me. Okay. So whenever you are seeing such kind of questions, what you're supposed to do is you are supposed to divide the question into multiple parts. Okay. So divide the question into multiple parts in the sense, see what they are asking first of all. What we are supposed to ask to the user. Okay. In this particular question, what is the term or what is a variable that I'm supposed to ask from the user? See, if the employee is working in a company for more than 5 years, right? So basically this experience I want. Exactly. I want the work experience. Yeah, right. So let me write here work experience as one of the variable is equal to. So work experience can be integer or it can be float. No, most of the time we say we have 3+ years, we have 4+ years of experience. So obviously it should be an integer. We cannot say float. I mean, we cannot say 4.5 years of experience, right? So we'll mention this as int input only. Enter work of experience. Enter number. Sorry, enter years of experience. Okay. Next. What is the next term I want? What is the next thing I want? Yes, salary is required, right? For for giving the 50% bonus, we want the salary, right? So exactly, we'll get the salary. And what do you think? The salary is integer or it can be a float? Always the salary can be a point value, right? It can be a point value. So we'll consider instead of int, we'll consider float here. Okay. Float input, enter salary. Okay. Now let us write the condition. So what is the condition? If only the work experience is greater than 5, it is not equal to 5 also. It should be more than 5, right? So it should be work experience greater than 5. Then what is supposed to do? He or she will get the bonus of 50% to their current salary. So we'll get the, first of all, we'll calculate the bonus. That is, bonus is equal to salary multiplied by 0.5. Yes or no? So this is what the bonus is, right? But after this, we are supposed to calculate the bonus to the current salary. I mean, we have to add it, correct? So we'll go to the next statement and we'll write a print statement saying that your years of experience is greater than 5. So as a company bonus, here is your total payout with the bonus. Okay, something like this. Okay. So what you're supposed to do is, first of all, we are getting the salary, the same salary that we have entered in the beginning, and we are basically adding the bonus, right? So let us run it. Okay, enter the years of experience. So let me write 6. So enter the salary, let's say 50,000. So for 50,000, what is 50%? It is 25,000, right? So total should be 75,000. Let's see. Yes, exactly. So years experience of is greater than 5. So your total payout with bonus is 75,000. Perfect. But the problem here is there is one problem. Can you tell me what is the problem here? See, even though, okay, I'll write the else condition here. Else condition says that no bonus, right? Simple. So if I mention, let's say 3, okay, now we know that the years of experience is lesser than 5, but still it is asking enter the salary. Now this is wrong, right? We are not supposed to ask the salary if the experience itself is less than 5. So what is the solution for this? What is the solution for this? The solution is what you do is mention this salary, okay, ask this salary inside the if condition. Okay, inside this if condition. So what is the meaning of this in the sense? Only if the work experience is greater than 5, then only we are asking the salary. Otherwise, we are not asking the salary. Very simple. So let us run it once again. If I write, let's say, enter years of experience as 7, now it is asking the salary. Let me mention 40,000. And you can see we are getting the total payout out 60,000. But if I mention the years of experience as less than 5, you can see directly it is saying no bonus without asking the salary. Right? So this is what we are supposed to do. So first of all, you are getting, I mean, whatever the code we have written, that is exactly correct. I mean, absolutely correct. But the problem here is it was asking, even though the experience was less than 5, it was asking the salary, right? We are not supposed to get that. I mean, we are not supposed to ask the salary if your work experience is less than 5. So we have put that salary, we have asked the salary only if the condition is greater than 5. Only then we are asking the salary. Otherwise, we are not asking the salary. Very simple, right? Okay. Well, move on to the next example. Now, this example is very, very, very tricky. Okay. Even though it looks very simple, it is very tricky to understand. So please bear with me and please listen to this particular question very carefully. Now, this was a question that was asked for me in my interview. Okay. So that is the reason I've kept this question. This is a very important question. So kindly make sure you give a proper understanding and proper attention here. See, just break down this question into two parts. Okay, first of all, I'll read out the question. If the electricity units is less than 100, then no charge. Okay, else if the electricity unit is greater than 100 and lesser than 200, then rupees 10 per unit. Okay, if the units is greater than 200, then it is rupees 15 per unit. So I'll quickly make you understand what we are trying to do here. Now imagine you have a house and you're in your house, you are using a units of around 95. Okay. Now if your units is 95 in a month, then you are not paying a single penny. That is, we are printing no charge. Okay. No charge. Very simple. Now, if your units is greater than 100, okay, it is greater than 100 in the sense, if it is 101, now for this extra 1 unit that you have used, okay, for that extra 1 unit you have used, what you're paying, you are paying rupees 10. Okay, because for each one, I mean, for each extra unit, you are paying rupees 10 per unit. Now, what happens if your units is 102? Can you tell me what should be the answer? What if? Exactly, the answer is 20. Very simple, right? The answer is 20. Now, what if your units is 105? 105. For you have 5 extra units now. Exactly, it is 50 now, right? Now, I'll give you a tricky question. The tricky question is till, okay, you can see here. Yeah, unit is greater than 100 and lesser than 200, then it is rupees 10 per unit, right? So what if my units is 200? What if my units is 200? Can you tell me what should be the total payout I'm supposed to give? So 200 is nothing but 100 extra units. So 100 multiplied by 5. Sorry, 100 multiplied by 10. 100 multiplied by 10. So it is 1000, right? So we are giving a bill of 1000. Now, listen to this carefully. What if my units is 201? What if my units is 201? Exactly. Very, very good, guys. It is 1015. Why it is 1015? Because I'll break this down. Till 100, you are not supposed to pay anything, right? You are not supposed to pay anything. But for extra 1 unit, you are paying rupees 10 per unit, right? So till 200, how much you're paying? You're paying rupees 1000, right? But for 201, now what happened? Now we are using till 200, and from 200 you are using one extra unit, that is a cost of rupees 15 per unit. But till 200 you have still used the electricity, right? So that should be also be added, right? That is 1000, right? That is 1000. Now the total is 1015. It is not just 15. If you just multiply 15, it doesn't make any sense, because from 100 to 200 you are paying 1000, but soon after 201th unit you are paying rupees 15. That is, does it make any sense? No. That is the reason you are adding the previous condition also. So I hope whatever we have understood here makes sense. So let us put this inside our code. First of all, tell me what we are supposed to ask from the user. What is the term that we have to ask from the user? Only one thing we have to ask. Yes, exactly. It is units, right? We'll get the units from the user. That is, units is equal to, it can be a point value. So we'll use a float, input, enter the number of units. Correct? Okay. Now we'll write the condition. So what's the condition? If the units is basically less than 100, right? Or sorry, it is lesser than, okay, we'll mention less than equal to, okay? Till 100, there is no charge. So if even if it is 100, then is no charge. So we'll mention here, no charge. Okay, very simple. Next, we'll go to the elif condition. Now what is the thing? If the units is lesser than or equal to 200, then what you're supposed to do? Then we are charging the user, charges will be total units, whatever units the user has entered, minus 100, because till 100 it was free, right? So for that extra unit you are paying rupees 10. So whatever this difference is there, for this difference you are multiplying the value 10, correct? This is a multiplied by value 10. So what happens if the value is 101? 101 minus 100 is 1. 1 multiplied by 10 is 10. So you're basically paying 10 for that extra unit. So if you want to print the extra unit also, I mean, why you're paying this rupees 10, that also you can print. You can print charges will be 10 because you have used, and you can print the units. Okay. Units minus 100 extra unit. So let's check for as of now. So if I mention, let's say 50, I'm supposed to get no charge. Perfect. If I mention 101, I'm supposed to get charges will be 10 because you have used one extra unit. So I hope everyone is able to understand what we are trying to do here. Next, after 200 is coming under the else condition, right? So after 200, that is anything that is above 200, then we are printing same thing. We are printing the same thing, but there is some difference. Can you tell me what is the difference? Okay, can you tell me what is the difference? Instead of units minus 100, now it should be units minus 200. Very good. Right? Units minus 200. And instead of multiplying by 10, we are supposed to multiply it by 15. But still it is wrong. Still it is wrong. Yes, here also let me mention units minus 200. Okay. So let's run it. Let's run it. I'll tell you why it is wrong. If I mention 201, can you see? Okay, I'm sorry. This is not 201. This is 100 only because we are using, yeah, we'll mention 201. Okay, here you can see charges will be 15, which is wrong. I told you the previous one also should be added, right? The previous condition should be added because you have added, I mean, used 101 extra unit. So till 101, I mean, till 100 units, what are you supposed to pay? That for that extra unit, exactly, it is plus 1000. right? Plus 1000, you have to basically add here. So inside the bracket, just mention 1000 plus units minus 200. So let's run it once again, 201. Now it is correct. Can you see? Charges will be 1015 because you have used 101 extra unit. Now this is one of the cases. Otherwise, what you can do, you can just copy this, the previous condition, copy this previous condition and paste it instead of 1000. Now we'll get the same output. Okay, you can see. Okay, we are getting 1025. No, it is not a problem. We'll do 1000 only. Better. We'll mention 202. You can see 1030 we are paying. So this is what you're supposed to do. Okay. Whenever you're getting such kind of questions, what you're supposed to do is understand the question properly. Because every time these kind of questions will be asked, every time they'll try to trick your brain. Because the questions seems to be very simple. But if you use your common sense, you'll get to know that, okay, till 100, there is no charge. From 100 to 200, you have to pay rupees 10 per unit. But soon after 200, you're paying 15 per unit. But still that 100 to 200 range, you have to add, right? Without adding, if you mention just 215, I mean, for that extra 201 unit, for that one extra unit, if you charge only 15 rupees, you'll be in loss. Obviously, your company will be in loss if you are the coder, right? So that is the reason you are supposed to add the previous condition also. Okay. Yes. Well, more to the next question. This question I want to do after we complete the data type. Okay. Yes, this is a better question. Exercise number. Okay, don't worry. I'll explain it once again once we complete the class. Okay, we'll complete the class. I'll explain it once again. Don't worry. Yes. So I have a new question, that is BMI calculator. So how many of you know what do you mean by BMI? Anyone knows the meaning of BMI? Yes, it is body mass index. Okay, it is something called as body mass index. And what it does is it will take your weight in kgs and it will take your height in meters and it will find out the index. I mean, it will give you one value. And if the value is basically less than 18.5, then you are considered as underweight. Okay. If your BMI is between 18.5 and 24.9, then it is normal weight. If it is 24.9 and 29.9, then it is overweight. And if it is beyond 29.9, then it is considered as obese. Okay. So I told you there are two things that we have to get from the user. Can you tell me what are those? One is the weight. One more is the height, right? So we'll write height, and this height should be in meters. So we'll mention height M is equal to, height can be in the form of, yeah, whenever you're mentioning the meters, obviously it should be a point value. So float, input, enter the height in meters. Okay, one is done. What about the second one? Weight. And this weight should be in kgs. Okay. Again, it can be a float value. So we'll mention float, input, enter the weight in kilograms or kgs. Okay. Now let us find the formula now. Okay. If you want to find the formula, you can just go to the Google and search here BMI BMI formula. Yes. Defined as the body mass. You can see body mass divided by the square of the body height. Okay. The whatever the weight is there, that should be divided by the square of the body height. Okay. So what you're supposed to do is, well, write the formula here. That is BMI is equal to weight in kgs. That should be divided by height, but it should be squared, right? So we are using the exponent 2. Perfect. Now we got the BMI. So once we get the BMI, what is a condition? So you can see BMI, if it is less than 18.5, then it is underweight. So basically we are supposed to keep on do this. So let us do it. if the BMI is less than 18.5, then we are printing. Okay, first of all, we'll print the BMI score. So BMI score is BMI, and we can mention underweight. Okay. So I'll teach you one of the method how to print a stuff without using multiple double quotes. Okay. I'll teach you right now. See here, if I run it and if I give height in meters as let's say 1.2, 120 meters, I mean 120 centimeters, height in kgs as let's say 65. Obviously, I'll know this is huge. Okay, we are not getting it. Okay, I'll give a normal weight now. So let's say 1.7 and I'll give, let's say 17. I think this should be a normal weight. No. Okay. Okay, I'll give you a huge height. Let's say 1.9, 1.9 and height in weight in kgs as let's say 50. This should be underweight. Yes, you can see we are getting the value as underweight. Okay. Now, instead of, I told you this is correct. BMI score is BMI and underweight, which is actually correct. But instead of using, opening the double quotes once again, closing the double quotes, putting a comma, opening it once again, closing it once again, you can make use of this. You can make use of a print statement exactly like the previous one, but we can use something called as F literal. So just mention F. Okay, I'll tell you why we are supposed to use this, and make use of one double quotes to open or one single quotes to open, and obviously single quotes to close or double quotes to close. Now what you're supposed to do is you are supposed to write exactly the same thing. BMI score is BMI, and you can mention underweight. Now, out of this entire statement, can you tell me what is a variable? What is a variable? BMI is a variable, right? So whenever BMI, whatever variable is there, that variable has to be enclosed inside the flower bracket. Okay. So what I'll do is I'll just comment this out and run it once again. We'll give the same value 1.9 and let's say 50. You can see BMI score is 13.85. You can see underweight, which is exactly the same thing. Okay. So if you're having a trouble to open, close, put a comma once again, again and again, you can make use of this F literal. Okay. This is exactly, but it is simpler to use. Okay. Well, move on to the next one. That is LF condition, where the BMI is between. So between in the sense greater than or equal to 18.5 and BMI less than 24.9. Okay, we'll print the same thing. Now it is normal weight, right? So we'll write normal weight. Okay, after this, again, we are copying the same thing. We are pasting it once, and last one is the else condition. And I'll print just. Okay, perfect. Everything is done. Now, we'll just update the values. So this should be 24.9 greater than equal to 24.9 and less than 29.9. And this should be overweight. And the last one, else condition, it is obese. So BMI score I'll be mentioning here, and finally obese. Which one are you saying? Okay, 24.9. I'm sorry. 24.9. Okay. Everything looks great. Let's run it. Okay. So let me mentor my height and my weight. So mine is 1.85 as a height, and the weight is 85. Okay, you can see BMI score is 24.83 and it is normal weight. So I'll give you one more example. Can anyone tell me your height in meters and weight in kgs? Height in meters and weight in kgs. Okay, 184 centimeter. So it is basically 1.8. Okay, what is your weight? Who was that? Who was that? I forgot. Can you give okay, 64. Okay, normal weight. One more. Can you give me two values together? Okay, Likita, 1.5 and 38. Oh my god, 35. 1.5 and 35. Oh, you're underweight. Kindly eat. Kindly eat well properly. You're too skinny, I think. Just for joke, okay? Kindly eat. Still. Okay, I think everyone has completed this. Any doubts? Any doubts? Okay, we'll consider one of the obese category. For example, height in meters has very short height, let's say 1.2, and the weight, let's say 100. You can see it is obese category, which is 69.4. Okay. I hope everyone is able to understand why this BMI is very important, because later in the later part of the session also we are dealing with this BMI condition. Okay. So that is the reason I wanted to do this particular problem. Yes. So, okay. One last question. One last question. Then we'll wind up the session. Now, this is a truly very, very interesting question. Okay. Exercise number 4. Okay. I think we have not completed the data type. I cannot do this. I'm sorry. Not a problem. We'll do it in tomorrow's class. What else I can do? Okay. We'll do one last thing. I think data types I have not taught you, right? Still. Yeah. So that is a problem. So I have to teach you what are the different data types we have. Okay, not a problem. Find whether the character is a vowel or a consonant. So first thing, what you're supposed to do is get the value from the user, right? So we'll get the character from the user. It is not int, it is not float, it is directly input because we are getting the value. Don't worry, I'll explain the previous one. I'll explain everything. Don't worry. Enter any letter. Okay, first of all, tell me what do you mean by vowel and what do you mean by consonant? Okay, A, E, I, O, U is a vowel and rest is a consonant. Perfect. Okay. Now, okay. So what you are supposed to do is, for example, the user, okay, the user will mention this. Okay, I'll run it. I'll run it. Print character. Let's say I mention A, capital. Okay. So you can see the value as A now. But whatever condition we have written, we have let's say we have mentioned it for small case A, not capital case A. Now both are correct only, both are vowels only. But even though both are vowels, we are not able to categorize it as vowel because we have written the condition for small case. Don't worry, I'll first of all write it, then I'll explain it. Okay, so I'll mention the vowels first. Vowels is equal to. Now, if you want to put multiple values inside one variable, you cannot mention like this, right? A, E, I, O, U. You cannot mention like this because for one particular variable, you can assign only one value, but we have assigned 5 values. Is that possible? No. So what we are supposed to do so that this entire value is being taken inside one variable. So what we are supposed to do is we are supposed to make use of something called as a list. Okay. Now this is a one data type that we have to learn. We'll learn it in tomorrow's class. So this is called as a list. So anything that is enclosed inside the square bracket, it is considered as a list data type. So whatever this list data type is there, whatever values is inside this list data type will be mentioned as one value to a variable. Okay, it is not array. Okay, it is not array, it is a list inside Python. Array is something else that we have to learn in data science. Okay, don't worry, we'll come back to that later. But this is a list. Okay, now what you're checking is we are supposed to check if this character, whatever character is been mentioned by the user, is present in the vowels list. Okay, we are checking whatever this character that is mentioned by the user, whether it is present in the vowels or not. If it is present in the vowels, then we can mention the given letter as given letter is vowel. Okay, but If it is not present, obviously we are printing given letter is consonant. Simple. Let's run it. So if I give a letter that is A, you can see, I'm sorry, I'm really sorry. We are supposed to give codes for, because these are string values, right? I'm sorry. Let's run it once again. Let me mention A. You can see given letter is vowel. If I mention I, you can see given letter is vowel. If I mention anything else, let's say F, you can see given letter is consonant. But the problem here is if I give a capital letter, let's say A. Now, even though this is a vowel, you can see the given letter is consonant is giving. So one solution for this is you can mention all the capital letters here, right? All the capital A, capital E, capital I. So this is what you're supposed to do. But instead of that, what you can do is whatever character you accept from the user, okay, if it is in the capital letter, directly will convert into a small case. Okay, directly will convert into a small case. But how to do it? This can be done by using a function called as lower. Okay, so you're calling the character that is that you get from the user, and we are using a lower function. So what it does is it will convert any capital letter into a lowercase. So now we'll mention, okay, I'm sorry, we are supposed to mention here character lower. If under the character lower, if it is present in the vowels. Okay, now let's mention A. Okay, can you see the given letter is vowel, even though I have mentioned the capital letter now. Now, if I mention any other, let's say G, you can see given letter is consonant. So what it does is basically it will convert any letter that is mentioned by the user into a small letter. Then it will check in this A, E, I, O, U. And then it will give me whether the letter is vowel or whether the letter is consonant. Okay. One method is this. One more method I told you. You can directly mention A, E, I, O, U, all the capital letters in the the list itself. Okay, this will also work. Two methods. I mean, you ultimately the output should be the correct answer. A method you can use anything. Yes, that's it for today's class. While coming to the next class, we'll first of all finish off the data types. And once you're complete with the data types, we can move on to the okay. Yes.